cussing Macedo, and they can growl about it. Lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedoes. Cussing Macedo. If I don't like 'em, I slide 'em like cussing Macedo, and they can growl about it. Lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedoes. Cussing Macedo. If I don't like 'em, I slide 'em like cussing Macedo, and they can growl about it. Lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedo. I'm just a lap car trying to survive, running in the back, fearing my life. Cause there's a black and 2041 guy heading to the junk in the field with some white on white crimes. Or is it 99 maybe? I don't give a damn, but the bank statement's lately adding up through the junk that the crazy man's making. Reckon her, reckon him, non-binary maybe, who knows? If I don't like 'em, I slide 'em like cussing Macedo, and they can growl about it. Lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedoes. Cussing Macedo. And I don't know where we go from here and what we think about it, but it seems to me, gotta be about it. Time for talk and speak comes across as weak, especially when dotting I's and crossing T's. It seems to be what they all want and what they need. And then you'll go, oh, oh no, just like them cars. Down round he goes, and then they get to finally feel like Carson Macedo. If I don't like 'em, I slide 'em like Carson Macedo, and they can growl about it.
Oh my God. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. Did it happen? Did it happen? Hold on. We got to make sure this is light. The light's up. The light is up. Yes. Where is it at? I know that Broke Joe. Oh, we're gonna get into Broke Joe here in just a little bit. Hold on. Where's it at? We got to bring it up here. I know we got to bring it up here. There it is. Oh my, is this a thing of the past, ladies and gentlemen? Is this a thing of the past? I think it is. Is this a thing of the past, ladies and gentlemen? I'm thinking it's a thing of the past now. A new Macedo is in town. We're seeing it live. A new Macedo in town. We're losing best friends. They're texting us now. Oh, God. Oh, no. Apparently, Australia... Oh, wait. We gotta turn this down. This is getting too real now. Apparently, Australia is facing a cyclone on the east side of the country. We got people saying they're trying to tune in right now, and they can't because of the cyclones. The damn cyclones are taking them down over there in Australia. I had a feeling I probably shouldn't go live this late. It is a little late, although it is a Friday night. People should be awake. I believe it's Saturday over there in Australia. But we did have an interesting race here tonight, and there were some things that were quite interesting that happened on the speedway. So we'll try to keep it generally quick here. Obviously, once again, I think it's 11:20 Central. It's past midnight on the East Coast. West Coasters, you are going to be tuning in. You're going to want to tune in for what we got to say about Broke Joe. Oh, we got something coming. I watched your video earlier about Aaron Reitzel. If everyone hates Reitzel, I'll be a Reitzel fan just to piss those people off. Oh, my God. We do have the chat already lighting up. Oh, my. Look at that. The chat's already lighting up. Dean Henry saying, good run for Bill Balog tonight. I am agreeing. If everyone hates Carson Macedo now, I'll be a fan of Carson just to piss them off, too. Is Alexander potentially Spike? Now we have to ask this question because the king of trolls exists in the form of a 5'6", roided-out midget known as Spike. It has nothing to do with Alexander, but he has many names, many followings, many undercover linings. Does this Spike guy? Oh, God, we're going blue. We're going blue. Anyways, we'll go ahead and talk about the race itself. It was pretty entertaining. It is already up on the World of Outlaw YouTube and Facebook pages. They've been putting those out pretty quick. But Bill Balog does get it done. It wasn't simple. It wasn't easy. Him and Cole Macedo, the new Macedo in town. Oh, my God. What are we going to do? Is Carson going to become a thing of the past here soon? Is Carson going to become a thing of the past? So you got your main event right here. We'll just run through some clippets. Cole Macedo taking the early lead there. You see it. Bill Balog made some moves early. Made some moves strong. Drove around David Gravel. You see it right there on your screen. Let's see if we can figure out where Bill Balog actually started on the field. So started fourth, so he fell back a little bit, made his way back up. I will say good run for Spencer Basin in the 14 car. That was a question mark car, I think, after their not-so-great runs to end the year last year. But you could see it here. Bill Balog, he was floating the middle, running this line, and that's usually how it works. First guy who finds a line that's really good usually makes things go to the front. Stays in his own clean air. He kind of did it there for a couple laps, especially 3 and 4. He had a huge advantage on everybody. I thought he could have got around Cole Macedo a little quicker, a little easier. If he would have, instead of kept, like you're seeing here, trying to throw these sliders, if he would have just kept off the bottom of 2. Eventually, he did capitalize, though, on the battle for the top spot. I believe it is right here. Yeah, Macedo enters in the middle of the track, kills his momentum through the center. Balog takes the lead and scoots away. Track was great. It was a little bottom dominant towards the end of the race, but obviously your leader and winner, Balog, showed you can move around on it, I'd say, for the first 22, 23 laps. Here at lap 22, you're still seeing the middle work as Gravel works around Schuhart and Macedo. He really just turned on the afterburners after the about that point when Balog took the lead. Gravel really just started clicking them all off. But that's about when the rubber started occurring a little bit on the bottom side of the raceway. And I really could tell that when Gravel was having trouble getting around some lap cars running the middle of the track. At the end, Johnny Gibson tried to make it exciting, saying Gravel was closing in on him. Now, they're on the last 2 laps. Gravel definitely did. But I will say that Balog held this gap you see right here for about the last 5 laps. 2 to go. Gravel did kind of close in, entering turn 1. But really, Balog had a really good car, picked up his second World of Outlaw career. You could see, or World of Outlaw feature event in his career. You could see it there picking it up. And what a story here for Bill Balog. This was a guy after that wreck at Volusia. You didn't know. I mean, we heard that wreck right there was pretty interesting with the bottom of the car, maybe some limbs exposed, and who knows what was going to happen. Ambulance on the scene. So for him to bounce back to winning less than a month or almost a month to the date later, that's a pretty big deal. And like Johnny Gibson and some people made, suggestions too in the post-race interview. People were saying last year when Balog went on the Outlaw Tour, this is a question mark move. The year prior to that, he was an All-Star and he wasn't necessarily dominating the All-Stars. He did, not necessarily field last year. He looked competitive last year. and it looks like his team and his group is slowly getting better. Just how we were alluding to how gravel slowly got better every single year. This looked different, and Balog, I don't know. I think people are sleeping on him. Definitely giving some more credibility to the IRA country of the world, which seems to be getting a lot of attention now in the last few years. Especially with the fall of the All-Stars, IRA, a lot of people are starting to consider IRA kind of sliding into that number 3 spot behind High Limit in the World of Outlaws. You could contest that and say NARC. I made that point. I think NARC is probably the strongest series outside of High Limit World of Outlaws. But as far as being able to travel around a little bit, being able to hit multiple big-name events while running a series full-time, IRA centrally located up there in the Wisconsin area. You got Iowa there. You got South Dakota there. Eldora and everything's not too far of a drive. So you got a lot of big races that if you're an IRA competitor, you could split on off to and run against the Outlaws and High Limit in their high-paying events. And, of course, World of Outlaws and High Limit having several events this year. I believe the Routine race is at 141 Speedway. That's going to be a badass event. Mississippi Thunder Speedway. They got the Red River. I believe it's like a little bit of a speed week kind of happening with the whole area up there. And, of course, IRA going to be running full-time this year once again. But once again, this is Mr. IRA, Bill Balog, the 10-time man, getting it done. And Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup. I don't know what this is, but this sponsor behind Bill Balog has been there for a long time. They've been doing some very creative social media posts with all kinds of different animations and things like that. So it's been very creative, but the side of the car is empty. The side of the car is empty here for Bill Balog, and obviously Anderson's has been there, but man, it sucks to see a car that's winning. That side area should fill up now if it's all about performance, which it should be. So maybe we'll see a new sponsor jump on board here with Bill Balog after this right out of the gate. Kind of low with the situation at Volusia, now a high with the situation here at Talladega Short Track, picking up the victory. I mean, it was very entertaining to watch, very entertaining to see Bill Balog look pretty dominant. I mean, I would have to say halfway in that race until he took the lead, you could pretty much tell by the time he drove around gravel the way he did that he was going to the front, and that's the car to beat. I think even Gravel said that in his post-race interview. He saw him pull away, and we knew that he had something good. Schuhart said the same thing. He rolled the middle. I tried to roll it like him, and I couldn't. So even the drivers on the track could tell that car, that 17B, was going to the dang front. Outside of that, second place Gravel. I mean, it's still just as dominant. I mean, he clicked it on there. Once Balog and the race up front kind of went away, Gravel was slowly moving forward. I don't think he had anything for Bill Balog. Maybe if it was a 45 or 50-lap race to get caught in traffic on a rubbered-up one-liner on the bottom of the track, then maybe Gravel gets him. But there would have had to be some significant lap car interference for anybody to get close to passing Bill Balog here tonight. Speaking of lap cars, I do want to give a big shout-out to this driver in particular, Logan Julian. Logan Julian, this 73 car, of course, this is the Gibbsville Cheese car, the 73 that we saw. I believe it was Scotty Thiel running this machine last year. A little bit different of a paint scheme than the years prior. You see Ludwig Trucking on the side of the car, Pit Stop Pizza, but the Gibbsville Cheese. We've had our Gibbsville Cheese, we've had our Aussie, we've had our Sparkle Belts, we've had a lot of things in Wisconsin. We've had our Bruners. Oh, God, are we going to talk about the Bruners at the Beaver Dam? We've had Spikes from Wisconsin. There's a lot of evil concoctions that come out of Wisconsin that honestly are probably more than likely deeply rooted in pagan ritual. But outside of that, this Logan Julian was fairly impressive. I also got to give a shout out to Shelby Hitton, who I believe is a damn stock car driver trying out sprint cars, for like the first time in 10 years. I don't know. He made the main event. But this just Logan Julian outran freaking Emerson Axum guys. And this was I believe they said, his first World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series event. I believe he's 16 or 18 years of age. They're taking kind of a risk. Ozzy over there taking a risk with this kid. He's telling me about him here in the offseason. I was like, who the hell is this guy? Never heard of him. Honestly, I've seen him, but never heard of him before. They showed me pictures. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I don't think it's a rent-a-ride or anything like that, but he's like, I just want to get some new blood in here and see what we can do with this team. I want some new guy in here. Honestly, first night out to make the main event, that's very impressive to pull away from Emerson Axum, who, you know, I was sitting here on the phone with Broke Joe. Well, we're going to get into that here in just a second. Y'all stay tuned. Yeah, World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series debut. They had it posted here. So I was on the phone with Broke Joe, and we were talking about the dominance of David Gravel and what's going to be happening here soon. It's like, who in the hell is going to get David Gravel? Who's going to be able to beat David Gravel's ass? And one guy thought maybe. I was like, well, the only chance maybe in the next maybe 3 to 4 years is maybe if Emerson Axum really gets some experience. Emerson Axum obviously has shown some dominational style of speed, almost winning Volusia this year and having his issue in a dominant fashion. I mean, he was dominating that race. So I was like, maybe if Emerson gets a few more years experience, you could maybe get him into the Outlaws and he could challenge him. So, you know, I was thinking Emerson Axum in 3 years could potentially be a David Gravel contender if the surge and rise of Emerson Axum just keeps going up. This guy pulled away from Emerson Axum tonight in his first World Outlaw Sprint Car Series event. Guys, in Alabama, it's not like this race was in Wisconsin. This was in Alabama. This was like even playing grounds if you were to judge Axum and this Jillian guy. Now, obviously, if he gets too popular, you know, when you're talking about David Gravel and Jillian, you know, you got to separate the husband and wife versus the driver versus another driver, because obviously David Gravel's wife, Jillian, it could become confusing. And then also his first name being, you know, Logan. You know, you hear Logan, you think Logan Schuchart. So if this guy comes rising up into the sport, it could cause all kinds of Gibbsville cheese bullshit kind of situations. I'm just saying. But I was impressed with his run here tonight. Want to give a big shout out to Logan Julian in debuting against the World of Outlaws. Pretty respectably there. He did get lapped late in the race by the leader and Gravel, but he was the lap car that I saw Gravel couldn't really drive around. It took him a minute, and that was kind of telling me there late in the race that the rubber was starting to come in on the bottom side of the speedway. But regardless, once again, got to give a shout out. Wisconsin just all over the board here, all over the board. Another guy who I think that this could be eventfully changing the scenario, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is going to be huge. This could change the whole game. And that is what we saw from this man here tonight. Oh my God, we gotta back it up right here. This guy. Oh yes, he is more attractive, ladies and gentlemen, than his brother. Yes, look at him. He looks like Goose and Tom Cruise had a baby. You know, we're talking about, and when I say Goose, you know, Top Gun reference. We're talking about Cole Macedo here, guys. We're talking about Cole Macedo in this 2C car. How good was that? I mean, honestly, guys, how good was that? I mean, a lot of question marks around the 2C. Obviously, Volusia didn't look as good as the 360 Racing when they went to the 410 side there at the Dirt Car Nationals. Pretty respectable here at the Bike Week event, but tonight, and obviously, could it be tonight very impressive? I was going to say, could it be maybe that West Coast style, you know, the short track, the high bank? You know, Kofoid won here before. Where did Kofoid go? I don't know. He ruined all of our underdogs and all of our gambling. Is Kofoid in on the game? I lost because of Kofoid. But the West Coast driving style potentially does like some high bank, short tracks, some slinger in their styles. Cole Macedo sitting on the pole of the main event. He fell back, but he defended the lead relatively damn good. Of course, Cole Macedo, we've already documented how he is more attractive than Carson. But I was talking to a colleague earlier tonight while Cole Macedo was performing so well. I was like, was Carson this good right out of the box? I mean, let's think about this. Was Carson Macedo this good? I mean, was Carson Macedo sitting on poles and potentially contending to win and putting together a full night? I don't know, guys. I don't know, and I'm saying that there is a new Macedo in town now, and I'm not saying this is anything like Logan and Jake Paul, but Cole Macedo's looking stout, guys. Cole Macedo is looking really good. I mean, and Broke Joe already, we're going to get to Broke Joe here in just a second. Oh, we're going to get to your ass, Broke Joe. Don't think you got off the hook. Oh, we got something for you, sir. But Broke Joe, obviously, with the Tarleton regime and everything like that, they had their little scuffles, it seemed like, from the outside looking in. Everybody could see that except for Joe. He likes everyone. And Broke Joe picked Cole Macedo to win Rookie of the Year. And Cole Macedo is definitely looking like a shoe ahead of everybody else. Although I was kind of impressed with, Chris Wyndham in the B main. Sarcasm, ladies and gentlemen, sarcasm. But anyways, Cole Macedo's looking stout. I'm very thoroughly impressed with Cole Macedo. I'm not shocked. I mean, I think that the West Coast, once again, this is why I put NARC right there below High Limit in the World of Outlaws. I think that West Coast proving ground, if you can go onto the West Coast and compete up front against your Sanders, against your Golobics, against even a Carrick, a Neto, a Selzy, some of the local guys, even some of the 360 stuff. Your Sharks, your Forsbergs, your Tim Kadings, even the Brent when he's on, he's good too. You go out there and you do that, you're competing with some pretty high-level shit, and that's where Cole and a lot of your World Outlaw successors here recently, at least, Brad Sweet, West Coast, couple guys, Carson, obviously, outside of David Gravel and Donnie Schatz almost, and Logan. I mean, Logan is from PA, but it seems like these West Coast guys, they pick things up very quickly. And if you can go through that gauntlet, if you can go through that cartel, as Broke Joe would say, of killers on the racetrack, you can jump to the World of Outlaws, and if you got some decent equipment, you could be contending for wins very quickly. It's a little bit of a jump, but you're exchanging a Sanders for a Gravel and this guy for that guy. I mean, it's not tit for tat, but competition level is just that high. So I'm curious on this. Do you think that Carson Macedo, out of his career starting point, looked this impressive? And if you think Cole's looking better out of the get-go at this point, do you think that Cole Macedo will slowly become the better of the two in the 2C car? I mean, it's funny, Carson Macedo is driving for Jason Johnson Racing. Or Phil Dietz Motorsports, whatever it is now. But Jason Johnson Racing 41, Phil Dietz. I know y'all don't know it. Most of y'all. This is the 2C of Wayne Johnson. Now, for those who don't know it, the history between Wayne Johnson and Jason Johnson, just because their last names were the same, don't mean they were brothers. No, they were fierce competitors. They would put right rears on each other's ass in the South racing ASCS. Probably the last good era of ASCS was Wayne Johnson, Jason Johnson, Jess Swindell. Reitzel was up in there. Paul Silva in the 57 with Shane Stewart. That era of the AS, once that all went away, it went to junk, and it's just Flakes winning it now. But in that era of ASCS racing, it was pretty cutthroat. It was pretty competitive. And Wayne Johnson and Jason Johnson, like I said, just because their last names were similar don't mean they got along at all. These were two fierce competitors. So there's a history between, I'm not saying these teams in particular because they were driving for other people. Well, Jason Johnson was it, but Wayne Johnson was driving for other people. This rivalry here between these two teams has some history to it with Wayne Johnson and the Jason Johnson regime. Now, obviously, that's a long time ago. Everybody's probably buddies now. I'm just saying there is history to this, and it is kind of funny that two West Coast brothers are now racing two guys who were both named Johnson but not related that are now involved, or in some way, Jason Johnson, of course, still involved with being a part of World Outlaw teams, and now they're racing on them. Very interesting. But is Cole Macedo... I think I'm saying this. Do you think Cole Macedo is going to be better than Carson? And if that is true, Are we hoping that Cole Macedo can come and take down David Gravel? I mean, he's already kicked Justin Sanders' ass all up and down the West Coast, so taking down Cole will be simple. Or taking down David Gravel will be simple. It's just another 2-car. You know, he's used to beating 2 cars on the West Coast. We're going to move it over to the chat here. Let's see what the chat says. Is Cole Macedo better than... I mean, I'm just saying. Chaz getting real gritty over one good run. I mean, hey, I like hype. I like hype. It looks good. It looks good. Hold on. We got to start it up, guys. And then we're going to get into the Joe situation. Hold on. Here we go. Just shifting in the second gear, guys. Shifting in the second. On any given night, NARC is the best series in the country. Wow. Yes, no respect for Ohio. I mean, guys, what do you mean? What do you mean no respect for Ohio? What do you mean? Ohio's got to get their shit together. All-Stars went away. Y'all used to joke and call the All-Stars the no-stars. You used to talk shit about them. Say they had no stars. Then you had the Fast Series, respectable, okay, but what Fast Series driver went and whooped some Outlaws' asses? You know, who was competitive every time the Outlaws were in Ohio. I'm just saying, I know that y'all kind of have lost some races in respect. But the problem with Ohio is that most of the races that happen with Ohio Series and drivers don't happen on Eldora's racing surface. So the local regional guys don't have an advantage against the Outlaws or High Limit or these big 410 events because there's not an abundance of racing action happening on that track with local and regional events. And that's the one track that gets the main stage most of the time. I know Attica, y'all may have some chances, but, I mean, Attica has the Doty, but Eldora kind of does overshadow the rest of the country in a way. But once again, how is it no respect for Ohio? We're comparing you to NARC. You know, comparing you to NARC. Wayne Johnson has a lot of experience. I'm just saying, NARC to Ohio, I don't think there's a comparison. Not until y'all figure out this All-Star Fast thing and figure out an actual lineup. The best drivers are West Coast guys, period. Okay. It would take Cole Luck to make his first show in PA. You really think that? You really think that? Cole hasn't whipped Sanders. I mean, he's beat him. He's beat him. He has. He has. Pump the brakes on Cole and BALOG. Give me more of this and I can change the proportional value. But this is a one-time deal. I don't think that the Cole deal, his runs are one-time runs. And I also don't think that BALOG is going to be... I mean, last year, BALOG was decently in the camera frame a lot. This would be signs of a slow progression. Now, granted, that Talladega surface, I do think, is closer to a Wisconsin surface, a little slick, a little smooth, that they do get up there at some of their venues, like a 141. So that may have helped them, but, I mean, it was still a very impressive drive for somebody who's been regularly within the top 10, outrunning some decent cars almost every single night like Bill BALOG has. He was, I thought, decently strong last year on a consistent basis. He was faster on a more consistent basis in 2024 with the Outlaws than I believe he was in 2023 with the All-Stars. So Chaz is overreacting. Let's wait until Cole gets to the half-mile tracks and see what he does. California drivers really struggle on the half at first. Well, I mean, Cole did a really good job with the 360s at Volusia. Obviously, it was 360s. We could say Justin Peck did very well at Volusia in the 360. How did that work out for you? But I mean, I didn't think he did too bad in the bike week shows. I didn't think he did horrible. It's going to take time for sure. It's going to take time for sure. But I don't know how you can say pump the brakes on BALOG. I'm just saying I think that Cole out of the gate is looking pretty damn impressive. It's looking pretty damn impressive. Cole is starting the season with a lot of confidence after racing in Australia. That's true. He did very well over there. Cole will come in his own by the middle of the season. I say look out. Come into his own, I believe, is what you meant to say there. Narc is the only game on the West Coast. Selzy, Golubic, Sanders, all not running full time. So who is the full-time stars? I don't know who you're trying to say is a bigger star. Who's a bigger star? Out of all those names you just named, who are you naming for Ohio? I'm just curious to rival those names. I'm just curious. Oh, Williamson couldn't do anything when he came to PA. A lot of drivers think they can step up till they hit PA and get stomped in the track. A little bit different of a scenario. Obviously, Cole Macedo's run more half miles than Williamson did. I feel very bad for the Williamson situation. I definitely missed that one out of the park. But West Coast drivers seem to do okay. Wasn't it Giovanni Selzy who came there? I think it was his first start at Williams Grove or second or something. Came from the C Main to win it. In the Bernie 71 car. Not saying it's easy, but that's one driver. It's like, man, that's one driver there with Gio Selzy. What's going on there? What is going on? Somebody just said what's going on with the NOS 17. What's going on with the 18 Gio Selzy? What is that? We've been asking ourselves. Here's the deal, Dirt Slinger. We've been asking ourselves for like 4 fucking years what's going on with the NOS 17 car. That's not a new question. But what the hell's going on with the 18 of Gio Selzy? That's a more newer question, right? That's a newer question, right? What's going on with Gio? And then what happened to Kofoid? I was expecting him to go forward. It didn't look to be the case. Did you mention David Gravel spinning in qualifying, then driving backwards to restart his entry into 3 for his second lap? I mean, as long as you don't trip the trigger, you're good. Gio more than 100 back, that's 2 full races. Yes, it is. All the NARC guys are not full-time because of the Calistoga race. Once they cancel that or make that a non-points race, you will get more full-timers. Yeah, I believe that Calistoga race is against the Skagit Nationals. Huge mistake on qualifying. Ohio is full of no-name drivers, nothing special to watch. The pressure is real on these guys. Kofoid's new crew chief may take a while this year. Oh, my. Selzy does an engine swap for a stuck throttle tonight. I mean, let's hope. I mean, he was good at Evolution for one night there. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. The question is, though, that is Broke Joe's boy. That is Broke Joe's boy. And, Cole Macedo leaving the Tarleton car. So will they make going backwards on the track a rule, or is this now iRacing file the protest? I don't know. I mean, I think I've seen that before. I mean, as long as you don't trip that trigger to complete the lap, you kind of can do almost whatever you want, I guess, now for sure. They have to let it go, or maybe there'll be a gravel rule. Is it not bad or sad that we in dirt racing have our top driver in dirt racing is called, his last name is Gravel? Hey, man, who's the fastest guy in dirt sprint car racing? Gravel. No, man, no. I'm not talking about, what you drive to get to the track, but who's the fastest guy in sprint car? Gravel. I think a new person would just shake their head and be like, what the fuck? It's just like that movie Rush Hour where he's like, what's your name? Fuck you. And it's actually his name. And he's like, no, man, fuck you. What's his name? Fuck you. So, it's just our fastest driver in dirt racing is a guy named Gravel. Like asphalt, gravel, tarmac. That is kind of worrisome. The West Coast is the hotbed of talent right now, bud. Well, I don't know. We got all hyped up over Tanner Holmes winning in the Tarleton car. And we made a phone call to Joe to say, hey, man, people want to hear y'all talk or hear your opinion on Tanner Holmes. And he goes, I saw the comments. I saw the comments where your fans was like, look at Tanner shut the broke Joe up. It's one race. It's one race, Chaz. Did you not see the night before where he ran 11th or 13th? I can't remember what he said. He was rambling. And I was like, well, come on the show. No, I'm going to Stockton Saturday, Chaz. I'm going to Stockton. Going to Stockton. Okay. We'll see what he does in the fourth. I'm like, well, who wasn't at, Silver Dollar? That is this name. It was a bunch of. I mean, you had Sanders there. You had Golubic there. So, since Broke Joe is electing to not address the Tanner Holmes situation, he's waiting for another night. He's waiting to get to Stockton, this little track that's going to be a bumper car event. I hope it's not. I like the shape of the track. I hope they get it right. But since Broke Joe is not on the show, we have a counterpart scenario, because we know there's one thing that Broke Joe. We're gonna be fair in this. There's something that Broke Joe likes, and there's something that Broke Joe dislikes. And since he's not coming on to the show to voice any of his opinions, we have here some pizza, Joe. We have pizza right here. And we know deep down inside, or at least you've made the statement, of you don't want to see fat people eat. Fuck you, Joe. He don't like seeing fat people eat or talk with their mouth full. Fuck them. So now we are forcing Broke Joe to watch fat people eat. It's quite good. We got just for you, a Pacific veggie, Joe. A Pacific veggie. How's it feel to watch fat people eat, Joe? It's damn good. Dip it in some marinara for you, Joe? Yeah? He don't want to face it. Damn, that's good. He don't want to face it. He knows that Tanner Holmes is coming for Justin Sanders' ass now. It ain't just Tanner Holmes sitting there, working on the car with him and his sister. He's got an actual crew chief now. The 21 of Tarleton has been dealing with drivers like Cole Macedo and all these other guys for years. And now they got a wheelman in there like Tanner Holmes. Now they got Tanner in the car. And I think Broke Joe is scared that the West Coast is about to be taken over by Tarleton and Tanner Holmes. Fat people eat, Joe. That's what I think. He don't want the truth. But he says he'll come on. He says he'll come on. He don't want to do it now. Too much reaction. He did say Tanner drove the perfect race. He was very proud of Tanner, it seemed like. Damn, that's good. Fat people eat, Joe. Dang. What we got on this thing? Hold on. I know I added jalapenos. So it's mushrooms, spinach, onions, Roma, tomatoes, olives, and jalapenos with a Alfredo sauce dipped in marinara. Fat people eating, Joe. Damn, that's good. Of course, I'm halfway kidding. Broke Joe may never talk to me again. I can't believe you got on there and said that, Chaz. I'm just having fun. We are still in Texas. Oh, that jalapeno is hot, guys. Look out. We are still in Texas. We are staying around for the... Oh, God. That's hot. We're drinking a LaCroix. You don't have to worry about the alcohol right now. We're opening a LaCroix berry. Joe's so-called driver did not amount to shit. Who? Oh, are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Will Willis, Kofoid, or who? We are still in Texas, like I said, getting ready for the KSP race next week, and slowly working our way to, I think, the Dodge City high limit race. Did you see all the kids around Tanner's truck after the races? That is the future of our sport. Tarleton Cars absolutely scream. One of the best car teams in the country. Chance Gratzty, you're saying. Peck looked good in 360s. Does not, like Tanner, does not necessarily translate to 410s. I don't know if that's the case on the short tracks of the West Coast. I do think that matters once you get up into some speed. I actually think the 410 catches you and saves your mistakes a little bit more than the 360s on the short track. You're saying Chance Gratzty last weekend at Chico sucked it up. That is. I think Gratzty's good, but that is Broke Joe's boy. Fat people eating, Joe. The only reason that David Gravel is leading the Outlaw points is because Kyle Larson isn't there. Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to harden some arteries on that note. I can't believe you just said that. You piece of shit. Why would you say such a statement? But you know what? Like I said after Volusia, it's fucking true. At this point, going forward, there's no excuses. Kyle Larson straight up outdrove everybody at Volusia, drove right around Gravel, made him his bitch. And until Gravel does that to Larson, then it doesn't matter. I know some people are saying, like you just said there, Fox, laugh my ass off. So wrong. It's because Sweet left. I don't think so anymore. I don't think so. I don't think Sweet's on Gravel's level right now. Sprint car racing is being robbed. I was saying this 3 or 4 years ago before the high limit series. I said, you know, if you have Brad Sweet there, David Gravel there, and Kyle Larson, there's your Swindell, Kinzer, Wolfgang, show that we should have in sprint car racing. And now we're in the same kind of predicament. If Larson was in there, you would have your Sammy and Steve every single week. But because of the money, because of how our sport is utilized and our fan base is manipulated, that doesn't happen. That scenario I'm describing, the natural occurrence of professional sprint car racing, does not occur anymore. And our show suffers from it, in my opinion. No, but I think it's true. Kyle Larson just outdrove everybody at Volusia, and I do think that that's the one combo right now that could give Gravel a run for his money if he was there every week. That would be the only guy, I think, right now. Obviously, Gravel looked a little human to begin the race tonight, but he finished like the dominating driver he is. Couldn't run down BALOG. BALOG hit something for sure. He's going to be good this year, obviously. But as far as consistency, speed, who could you project to go get Gravel on a consistent basis? If Larson was running, I would lean towards he could be the guy to do it. That would be a hell of a show every week. Winning it, guys. Kyle Larson versus David Gravel. The real outlaws going at it. Well, we don't have that. We don't have that, guys. Fat people eating. I guess Holmes against who for the NART title? Not worth the price of the ticket. Oh, wow. Where was Gravel at the Knoxville Nationals the past years? He was behind Larson. Now, this is when regular people lose their minds and become Larsonites. Now you're starting to enter Larsonite status because there's plenty of nights last year where David Gravel and plenty of the sprint car guys beat Kyle Larson. Plenty of nights. Why are you not giving them credit for beating Kyle? Basically, the whole half of last year, the regular sprint car guys put it on Kyle's ass. He went winless, right? Kyle didn't win a sprint car race like his first 20 starts last year or something like that. I can't remember what it actually was, but Larson was very pedestrian the first half of last year. And you're going to wait all the way to Knoxville Nationals to point out where Larson started beating the other guys. Went on his little win streak. What about when our guys, that's the problem with some of y'all. That's when y'all enter Larsonite status because you don't give the full-time sprint car drivers credit. He's also not a full-time sprint car. That doesn't mean anything. The guys who are full-time sprint car guys are wore out. They're burned out. Look how good Darren Pittman jumps in it and does. And Larson is definitely sharper. It's not like, yeah, he doesn't run sprint cars all the time, but he's in a cup car every weekend. It's more impressive what Darren Pittman does than what Kyle does. Larson even won the Chili Bowl on the Eagle chassis that Chaz said he couldn't win in. Yeah, I said that. I didn't know they were going to, work the track to where it was a 3-foot ledge around the top of the speedway to where precision of race car doesn't matter. It's just about going up into the fucking fence and riding the cushion as hard as you can. It's not excuses, it's facts. 100%. The Larsonites are ridiculous. Because the facts are Kyle got his ass handed to him for most of last year. You people don't want to credit our guys when they beat Kyle. You only want to credit Kyle when he beats us and solidify that as dominance. Now, the only reason I'm referencing Volusia is because what Kyle did to fucking Gravel at Volusia was upright royalty to peasantry. It was disgusting what Larson did to the field on that final night. It was disgusting. But I do think that maybe Larson could potentially, he's the only guy right now that could be on a Gravel level. Could be. That's not saying he can be. I mean, who knows what Larson would be if you had to put him through the grinder of full-time sprint car racing. Obviously, 2021, he did very well. But in a lot of those victories that he had in 2021, which is the N-word year where he won all those races, they weren't all World Outlaw events. There was some, but there wasn't all. There was a lot of World Outlaw events in 2021 where he lost guys. Where's the credit to the guys when they beat him? Where's the credit? We're going to do that. We're going to do that right now. We're going to go in here. We're going to go to the points, which, by the way, I mean, Gravel is too far ahead. We'll go to 21. Now, once again, Kyle did very well. We're not here to say he didn't. But a lot of those wins Kyle had in 2021 when he went ape shit on the dirt world and won everything weren't all against the World Outlaws. Let's see, where's Kyle at? Dang, he's down here. And he's down here because he didn't run a lot of World Outlaw races. Started 70. Let's see here. Where's he at? Right there, 32nd in points. So he ran 15 races, and it's still a hell of a win percentage. 15 races and 4 wins. 4 wins, 13 top 10s, 8 top 5s. Sorry, that's 16. Raced 16 times. Still a hell of a win percentage. He was on a roll there, but there's still, that's the top 10s. My point here is there's still 12 other nights where people beat Kyle Larson. And this is the problem. And this is why I get so mad, and this is why it's the fan base subject more than his. And Kyle agrees with me when we go back and forth on this. It's your fans that are the problem. Halfway agrees. Those 4 victories that Kyle Larson had against the World Outlaws, think about that. He won how many? Like 60-something races, and y'all hear all about this 21 season. Once again, the N-word season. Oh, he did so much. He did so great. He dominated dirt. He only won 4 World Outlaw races, guys. Only 4 out of the 60-ish. and there was no high limit at this period of time. So, I mean, look at the stat above him. I mean, Tyler Courtney had a comparable-ish season in 21. 17 starts, 9 top 10s, 4 top 5s, 1 win. Obviously, Courtney, I think that was his second year in wing sprint cars. And I think that 1 win was the King's Royal. So, regardless, this is what I'm saying. Only out of those 60, what was it, 42 races? Somebody put the number of races he won in the sprint cars in 2021. It was the 1 year he got to run them full time. He only ran 16 World of Outlaw races. He only won 4. And y'all will sit here and say he's better than everybody else in every one of those 4 races. But the 12 other times that our guys beat him, the credit's not given. There's no credit given to our guys for beating Kyle. Kyle gets the credit for beating us. He's better than everybody. Our guys beat him, and it's like, okay, who cares? His car was off. You know, that's the problem. That's a fan base issue. That's a fan base issue. Was it 20? I swore it was 21. Hold on, let's go to 20. Maybe it was just as bad. He probably, I mean, he did some numbers. Okay, there you go. Here we go. I mean, we could still say the same thing. Hold on. This is 20, sorry. Obviously the races are up. 27 entered. 12 wins. That's a hell of a win percentage, obviously. It's Kyle fucking Larson. But I could still make the point. In 27 entered races, he still lost, what was that, 15? He lost 15 times. I mean, 19 of those, he was in the top 5. 23 of those, he's top 10. I mean, obviously, the stats were amazing in 2020. I was surprised. I was like, 4, wow, that's low. But still, out of the 40 or 60-something races he won, he only won 12 times. But what about the 15 other times somebody's beating him? Where's the credit? It still goes back to the same thing. You know, still goes back to the same thing. Regardless. I just don't like that. Oh, where was he last year at the Knoxville Nationals and all that? I know I messed up the years there, but our guys beat him, and he doesn't run late models anymore because he couldn't be competitive in late models anymore. Let's not forget that either. He came out running well in the late models, but if you remember last year he was running late models, he was finishing 12th and 14th and 8th and 7th. He wasn't really out of the gate. You know, those late model guys, they pick it up and learn it fast. They watched Kyle run, learned his lines, learned how he was driving, stepped up their game. So the late model world basically kicked Kyle out because he couldn't compete against him anymore. They were just that much damn competition over there, you know. So that's what happened. In my opinion, that's why he don't run the late models anymore, because you look at his last starts there, last 10 starts in the late models, he started going down the finishing order in a hurry. It's a lot different going up against Overton, Marlar, Davenport, Thornton, Pierce, Pacretti, Moran, Hudson, Bishop. Yes, and that's because late model racing does not have an icon issue. He was in a great car in the late model world, too. Oh, yeah, he was in the best. Kevin Rumley, the guy who develops everything, the car god. Sprint cars is the truck series, and late models are Cup. Oh, my. As far as depth and competition, who would be the Busch series then? Who's Busch? Sprint car is truck. Late models is Cup. Are you saying USMTS is Busch or something? I don't think you could. I don't think you could confidently say that though. Look at the money for 20 versus all the rest of sprint cars. That tells the picture. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. 20 was a good year. But he still got beat, and the other guys didn't get credit. The same thing happened in the late model world. Oh, we're departing late models and going to run sprint cars more. No, it's more so you're getting beat. every time you get out there. But that's because they're filled so much deeper, you know. We got about, when Larson jumps in a sprint car, he's got to worry most of the time about 4 guys. He jumps in a late model, he's got to worry about 12 of them, you know, and sometimes more than that, 15. If it's a big dream race or a World 100 or one of their marquee events, you got 20 fucking guys in there who can win the race. It's just that much. The depth over there is just unimaginable for the sprint car fan. You know, a David Gravel, even though Pierce and Thornton Jr. are so great, they still get beat too a lot. But they can hit some stuff and be be very dominant. But to get to that dominant level is just like 2 more steps higher, I think, than a gravel level even. You know, Gravel gets to where he is in sprint car racing. Not saying he settles, but he ain't got a Davenport and a Marlar and an Overton and 3 different, you know, crew chief engineer guys trying to run him down every single weekend, and they're making up ground on his ass and closing in. And, you know, that's the situation in late model racing. It's just so competitive. Even when you are the lead horse, you're getting whipped by second on back. And you really have to keep pushing. You can't just be okay being the dominant guy. I'm a Larson fan, but I'd rather see Gravel, Courtney, Sweet Day, or Macedo over someone in an all-white car with absolutely no design. Hot take, but I want to see good-looking cars run good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Late models are the boringest racing to watch on the planet. Depends on the racetrack. In 21, Larson won Knoxville, Kings Royal, Chili Bow, 10 Cup races, and the championship, and he got lapped at the Dream by Overton. That just proves late models are tougher. This is fact, guys. And that's after Larson had a year playing with the late model. You know, that is a year out because he started racing in 2020. So, yeah, 100% agree. That is the depth of the late model industry. In my opinion, it's the number one most competitive form of motorsports in the world. There's nothing higher than super dirt late model racing. It is the pinnacle of motorsports on planet Earth, in my opinion. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Hold on. One more. Hey, Broke Joe. Fat people eating. Hold on, we'll spice it up as if the jalapeno wasn't enough. By the way, I don't know how much I'm going to promote this, but this shit is good. It is Tabasco sriracha sauce. If you ever see this, non-GMO, you got to try it. I'm telling you, this Tabasco sriracha. Hold on. Oh, my. Look at the red. Oh, it's so good. Extremely good. If you ever see that, buy it. Tabasco sriracha sauce. Kind of burns with the jalapeno, but it is damn good. Look, I'm putting a whole drip on there. Man, that's good. Unbelievable. I'd rather watch school buses race than late models. When Ricky Thornton doesn't make the models sprint car race, what does that even say about late models? I don't know how to read that. They ran late models and sprints at Cedar Lake Independence Day Show 2020, and all the fans went to the concession stands during the late model races. That is disgusting and not true. At Cedar Lake, the biggest race of the year is the USA Nationals. It's like 3 times the size of the World Outlaw race at Cedar Lake, the late model show is. It's like 3 times the size. You can't get a camper spot. I just had an idea just for Broke Joe. This is what fat people do, Broke Joe. The marinara dip, putting some Tabasco sriracha in there, bull. Oh, my, Joe. Give her a little mix up. Oh, my, Joe. Fat people are eating. How you going to handle it? Oh, my, it's good. Oh, my. I'm just reading the comments, guys. This is becoming a debate with sprint car and late model people. Oh, he retracted the statement. Dean Henry backed out. Why a chapped ass? What'd I do now? I didn't say anything about Caitlyn. Which, by the way, damn, it's so good. Somebody was talking about that the other day. Chaz, you should have known better not call her a fucking bitch. Look, that whole situation with Caitlyn, I'm still going to sit here and say I could be sorry about it or whatever. I wasn't mad at Caitlyn Larson. I was upset about the banner situation. Caitlyn Larson wasn't even in my head at the Chili Bowl. I wasn't even thinking about her. Until she inserted herself into me. I was just standing there and she ran up into my face and provoked and antagonized me. So I'm just saying, this is the facts. I didn't go out looking to be mean to Caitlyn. Caitlyn provoked me. I reacted in a very disrespectful way, obviously. But I'm just saying, poke some bears. I'm just saying. While True Timber didn't come to JMR with based in the 2025 Standards Engineering 4 CCC's 114 is candidate for livery of the year. That car looks so sleek and evil. Okay. When Ricky Thornton doesn't make the A main in sprint cars, what does that say or day about late models? It means that they have a 4-link suspension. It means that the driving styles of the cars are very different. It means a lot of things. How does the great Donnie Schatz do when he races his late model? There you go. There you go. How did Danny Dietrich do? Lance DeWeese. These guys all tried late models. Could be nowhere be fat. They weren't even in the A main, I don't think. So, I mean, you could say this tit for tat back and forth, but I think Kyle fared very well because he raced fendered cars for his whole career. From 16 years and up, he was running ARCA and NASCAR and trucks. I get that's not a dirt late model, but the engineers of the asphalt world are in late model racing. So you mix that experience of non-wing and wing sprint cars and all this stuff with asphalt driving tendencies, even though it's asphalt, but full-bodied feel and heavy cars, you mix those two driving styles, it's a pretty good training ground to potentially try out a dirt late model. It's probably somewhere in between, you know. So I think that's why Larson did so well in the late model jump. And sim racing. I think sim racing can prep you for different things, and he's been a lifetime sim racer. Hell, me and him were running fucking R Factor 20 years ago. I agree with Tim Vincent. How did two-time Daytona 500 champ William Byron do in a late model? He couldn't make a lap without spinning out. 100% true. And Kyle Busch was lapped twice that night after getting a provisional. I think Tyler Courtney won the B main or finished second at the Dream. Or the Million. Was it the Million? Yeah, the Million. It was good to see BALOG win. Yeah, it was. How about Logan Seavey? You would think that a USAC non-wing guy would transition to a late model better than even a wing guy, right? And Logan Seavey, I mean, he's had some runs, but he ain't won yet, and he's ran like 40 races or 20 races or something. He's ran a considerable amount of time in the late model and not against the big guys. He's ran like I think he's run MLRA and Mars and regional series. He's run against the big time series, but he's been going to the regional stuff and can't win in that late model he's driving. It was good to see BALOG win. It was. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get off of here. It is getting late. It's later than I wanted to come on here and do, but I said I would do it. And, yeah. Once again, hold on. Hold on. Fat people eating. Mm-hmm. You can't say late model guys are the best since all the sprint car guys don't do good in late models. It's different driving styles, and they don't compare. I'll end it with this. The reason I'm saying late models are the number one motorsport in the world is because of the depth of field, the depth of funding. They have 80 cars. When the Dream or the World 100 happens and there's 120 cars, there are 80 cars that are funded like a national racing team. When Knoxville happens, in my opinion, and they have 100 cars show up for Knoxville, there's only about 20 cars in the pitting area with national funding, 20 to 25. Most of the time in your Wing 410 division of sprint car racing, the guys up front are pretty good drivers with almost unlimited funding as far as buying the best of the best. You don't have that depth of equipment equality because the money's not invested in the sprint car racing. All of our money's been going to truck renter rides and helping little kids get somewhere. We've been spending 300Ks on midgets and shit. The late model industry's been spending 300Ks in building race teams. So they got money invested into their sport to where you have 80 cars with the best of the best equipment money can buy. And then it's the drivers making the difference. And then since there ain't no co-trickle effect over there, the good driver comes up, he don't want to go to NASCAR, he don't leave the sport, he invests into the sport. He drives the sport his entire career. So you got all the Kyle Larsons, for instance, the Kyle Larson, Chris Bells of the fendered industry, they're still racing late models because their Jeff Gordon was Scott Bloomquist. Their Jeff Gordon was Scott Bloomquist. So that's what their fan base and aspiring drivers have been trying to emulate for 30 fucking years, while our fan base has been trying to be Jeff Gordon for 30 years, which is David Gravel's favorite race car driver when he was a kid. It's called a mental psyop to children's how you cause this situation to occur. You get them when they're young. So, that's the difference. That's the difference. It's the aspiring cool guy icon scenario isn't going somewhere else. It's investing into the sport. It's being a champion. It's being a Steve. We used to have Steve Kinzers and Swindells, but that's why I say Co-Trickle or Jeff Gordon killed the sprint car star, because it took over the aspirations of what's the goal within the industry. What's the top of the mountain? The top of the mountain used to be sprint car driver. The top of the mountain used to be that guy. Now the top of the mountain is to go to NASCAR, and that's how you become the top of the mountain. Whereas late model racing, it's to go be Scott Bloomquist. So it helps their industry, and their fan bases idolize that and support that accomplishment as well. Nobody gives a fuck about Tyler Reddick in the late model world. They don't give a damn. They think it's cool, but they don't care. They're way bigger fans of Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton Jr. and the next up-and-comer or somebody like that into the late model industry than they are some guy going to late models going to NASCAR. That doesn't get them off. Scott Bloomquist does. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to the show. It was just right at the hour mark. Once again, I didn't think I was going to do this show, but we did. We will probably be here tomorrow post-race. I won't promise you anything. We'll see what we can do. And once again, fat people eating, Joe. Best sauce in the world. If you can get some, freaking get it. Tabasco Sriracha. Best in the world. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, like the video, share the video, subscribe. Venmo, PayPal links in the description, as well as the Cash App now. It'll definitely go a long way if you want to join the support, help out. I want to give my apologies to Broke Joe, and hopefully he can make it to another show. I was just joking with him earlier, but he didn't want to talk. He didn't want to talk Tanner, and he hates fat people eating. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in once again, and we will catch you next time.
Look in the sink with my torpedoes, tossing Macedo. And I don't know where we go from here and what we think about it, but it seems to me gotta be about it. Time for talk and speak comes across as weak, especially when dotting I's and crossing T's. It seems to be what they all want and what they need, and then you'll go, oh no, just like them cars. Down one he goes, and then they get to finally feel like Carson Macedo. If I don't like him, I slide him like Carson Macedo.